The sun is starting to rise over the settlement of the Howling Pines. Uh, it's the day after everything went wrong. You managed to keep yourselves alive at Hell's Cove. You managed to make your way back to the settlement and minimize the damage done. You still lost quite a few people. When everything was said and done, you're standing at a head count of around 50, 55 people left, uh, including you, those of you in your group. Um, you've managed to take 8 prisoners. You took 7 of the soldiers from the Green Leaves, or the Green Stags. I don't know why I keep saying Green Leaves. You took 7 soldiers from the Green Stags, as well as uh, Brigitte, who was the one of the juggernauts from the Dread Eagles, who you managed to disable rather than kill outright. Uh, they've been tied up and kept in one of the buildings, uh, with a guard keeping watch over them overnight as people got some rest. Arnhilder let everybody know that in the morning there would be a meeting to discuss what actions would be taken, but that there wouldn't be a lot of time to deliberate. Uh, a lot of people were on high alert. It's incredibly possible not many people really got a lot of sleep at all. A lot of tension about whether another boat would arrive with more soldiers, about whether it was actually safe to take this time. Uh, how it's up to you to decide what you spent your night doing, how well you slept. But as we open, it is uh, the morning, and people are starting to congregate in the town square amidst a lot of the burned out buildings. Arnhilder is standing. Uh, Arnhilder is standing on the podium that she's used to address people before, just kind of waiting for everybody to file in. Does everybody? Uh, does everybody go there?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess more just trying to figure out what um, weigh, just to see if I need to weigh in. Not, I don't know. I think that's probably my biggest thing.
Okay. Does anybody have anything they want to do or say before Arnhilder begins to speak?
Mm.
Okay. I want to thank everybody for coming here for the meeting. Uh, Obviously, these are tense times. I'm not going to waste our time with a lot of talk. It is something we are very possibly low on. It is hard to know how much time we truly have left before we must leave. But I think it is safe to say that we must leave soon. We searched the boat that the attackers brought here, and we found uh, charts. Charts of the North Seas, which is good. We had our own, but ours were old. We had not been keeping an eye on the development of the clans, the territories they hold. So these updated charts, they'll be helpful. I've been looking over it, and I've found 3 places that I think we could head to. 3 places where it seems to not be, at least according to the Green Stag's knowledge, they seem to not be occupied. Or at the very least, not occupied by clans that we know to be hostile. There's a fairly large landmass on the northern end of the sea, uh, it seems nobody has really settled there. Uh, that or the Green Stag just haven't really gone there themselves. It's very possible, with how far to the north it is, the ground there may be hard to work with. Temperatures will be low, living may be hard. It may also be the most isolated place we could go. There is another island out on the other. It's fairly far to the east. It occupies a space fairly similar to the one we are on now, but it is larger. It's possible it could have more resources. We would still likely need to live largely off of the ocean, off of fishing, but there may be room for farmland there. Room to hopefully find the resources to build to build. I'm blanking on the term right now. To build walls, to build defenses. Fortifications. That's it. Thank you, fellows. It's been a long night. I apologize. Lastly, there is a peninsula on the north end of a fairly large continent. It's likely the most temperate. It's likely to have the most access to livestock. It's such a large landmass as well. There are settlements there that are marked there, but they all seem to be smaller. They all seem to be clans that we have known to more or less keep to themselves and be not very aggressive. But there is a pocket as well that is fairly far away from them on this peninsula. It is likely that the peninsula, for some reason or another, may be a little less inhabitable than the rest of the land, which is why nobody has settled there. It's possible it's more rocky, more mountainous. We are not sure. But those are the three places we've looked at where it seems we may be able to rebuild. With how little information we have, I think the best thing for us to do would be to take a quick vote on which we feel would be the most beneficial. So, I would like to take a few minutes and open the floor to anyone who has thoughts. Yes, tell us.
We do need to find a place to go. Do we know what we'll do next? We've hidden. We've ran. We've done nothing but shrink as a clan and run. Obviously, we do not have the resources to launch an offensive against these enemies, but I think if this has shown me anything, we need to try and grow again. And obviously waiting for the young ones to grow up isn't going to be quick enough. Do we know... Are there other clans that are being targeted by the Green Stag? Are there any indication of that? If we could find other groups... The thing that stands out to me about the peninsula is if there are these other small groups, if they are being hassled or harassed by the Green Stag as well, we could find allies in them. We could potentially invite them to join us, or some of them at least. Doing more of what we've done in the past is foolhardy.
It is a good point. It has been a point of contention for a long time, and I regret the way that I have handled it. Those of us who were there, that night was a lot to handle. And I fear that we let that experience turn us into people who perpetuated that suffering. But looking at us now, looking at what we have left, if we continue the way we are going, even if the Green Stag never find us again, it is going to be hard to keep going the way that we are, the size that we are. Wherever we go, we do need to focus on growth. I think that is true. If we truly want to build something. Yes, Einar.
We gain potential allies when we head over to the peninsula. Yes. But these are clans we have no knowledge of, yes? Right?
Many of them are clans that we have heard of, that we have traded with, but have never talked with very directly.
And this is recently, right? Yes. This
Some of these are new. Some of these I do not recognize. Yes.
And then we have strength in that. We have strength in the freshness. I have to agree with Talos. I believe if there's a chance that this land is also a good fertile land for us to grow on, and we do that, we have made something from nothing before. I am also interested in the prevalence of goodwill towards our other clans. I don't advise going to war, and I believe Thelosio and I will disagree on that, but I, of course, will do whatever is needed. But I might, if a vote counts for anything, that's I say Peninsula. I say we go to a place where we know we have a chance, and we also have contacts to be made, and if there are hardships to endure, we will do so.
Anybody else? Yes.
I have an out of character question. I
Yes.
have a lot of skills in lore. Would I have possibly heard of any stories or songs about the other clans, or am I too the clans on the peninsula? Or am I too isolated?
Ahead and go ahead and roll a lore.
A lore. All right, it's just a D20, and I add 4 to it. Correct?
Yes.
Perfect. Oh, a natural 20. So a 24.
Okay.
The
You've
one, the only.
heard tales of most of this comes from Green Stag history, or not Green Stag history. The Hellfleet history. It comes from tales you've heard passed down about the way that things used to work. You were a trading clan. It is what you did. You do know that a lot of the aggression, a lot of the more militaristic efforts were made out further into the sea, whereas this land to the south that they're talking about, it tended to be clans who were less interested in the actual in that actual lifestyle, in actually sailing and going for plunder. They had a military. They would go to war now and again, like these clans. They had interests, but it did tend to be people who lived off the land more, made trade, a lot of smaller settlements, with some bigger ones further inland. Tended to be where the actual seats were. They would like the actual major clans would be further into the mainland, where it was harder to attack and approach them.
Right. Well, I've heard some stories about the clans on the peninsula, and I rather think it's. I mean, it seems like if we want to grow, we should go where more people are. And from the stories and the songs that I remember, it seemed pretty safe, like there. And I think safety in numbers is something that should happen for us, since we do not have the numbers or the safety. I vote Peninsula.
Anybody else? Yes. Bergild. Yes.
Before I answer, like, while this is all happening, can I, God, everyone's calling me right now. Sorry.
It's okay.
Before this is all happening, would I be able to, try to get, like, some vision of, like, what our future would be if we did move to the peninsula?
Yeah, go ahead and roll in insight. You would probably need to... It'd probably take you a bit of time, and you would need to kind of get your stuff out and, like, do whatever
Yeah, so I
ritual
kind of
you
want to,
would.
like, move over to the, like, side
Yeah.
and kind of do it, like, unseen.
All these birds
So
in our
in
town hall.
I'm fine with it, honestly. I was going to put, like, some bird ambiance in this scene anyway, so the fact that somebody has birds just coming in through their mic is great.
Sorry.
19 plus 8. 23.
23? It is... You see a lot of figures, and you see... You get a vision of sort of a lot of just like some silhouetted figures, some shadowy figures, more or less, and you you get a glimpse of like a flash of fire, a sprouting of leaves. Another, just like you hear the ringing of clashing steel, and you hear the calm, then it gives way to a calm breeze of what sounds just like wind whistling through tall grass. It feels like a mixture of just a swirl of conflicting images and sounds.
Great. That doesn't make me feel really good.
You feel a hand on your shoulder as you're doing all this, and you look up, and it's Gisla, the seer who trained you. She's as the conversation and other people are talking up in the hall, she says to you, "Is something on your mind, child?"
I don't really like the idea of going to a new place. It's gonna be hard for me, and I kind of wanted to know for certain it was going to be okay. And it doesn't seem like I can know for certain. I got images of good and bad.
It's a tricky thing, seeing. The problem with trying to tell what is going to happen is that at the drop of a hat, if somebody makes a different decision, if somebody decides not to do something they've been planning on doing, that changes everything, doesn't it? I do believe there is a fate, but I also believe that fate is fluid. The further ahead you look, the more fluid it is. It's like a stream. Several streams feed into each other. They make a giant river, a raging river, and once it gets to that point, there's not much you can do. But those streams, you dig a tunnel here, you build a dam there, suddenly the stream is going in an entirely different direction. Now the river is a little less raging, a little less strong. And now, you do this enough, there's an entirely new river. You do have a gift. I believe that you see much more clearly than I ever have. However, I think there are times where even that skill is going to matter much less than what you decide to do about it. You are not tied to these paths or these things that you see. I am also scared of leaving. To be fair, I'm not sure that my body can handle a trip of that size anymore. And the idea of meeting another clan, is scary. I lost a lot of people. After yesterday, however, I don't know that we can avoid it as much as we would like. All we can do is choose the way that we respond. All we can do is try to guide those streams.
Yeah. I'm not so much scared of the future. It's just, I know that if I turn right on a certain street, I'm going to be in a certain place. And I know that if I, walk a certain way, there's a pothole in the road. And the idea of being somewhere unfamiliar to me, I feel like puts me at a disadvantage. And that scares me more than anything. And I won't be there to help my family.
It is understandable.
And I just wanted to know for sure. I guess I get it. We can't. Ironically, the future terrifies me.
Lots of people call it a gift. Well, I may have as well, but it can also be a burden. It's a lot of responsibility to carry on your shoulders. She's kind of pats you on the shoulder and turns her attention back. Does anybody have anything else they wanted to say? Well, if there are no objections, it appears that we set sail for the peninsula as soon as we can. We will not commit to permanently establishing a base there right away. We will scout it out. We will make sure it is safe. If we need to leave, we will leave. We can always go to the other places if we need to. But I think we should make preparations to leave today. The forces they sent yesterday were probably just what they had on hand that were nearby. If we stay much longer, the main force could be here. So, do what you can. Grab the things that you want to bring with you. We have enough boats to get everybody out, especially with the one we got from the stags. So, take these next few hours, gather your things, gather your swords. I'll need to address the prisoners and figure out what we will do with them. With that, she steps down. People start going about their business. Does anybody have anything they would like to do?
I don't have a lot of personal stuff really, so my packing is pretty light. So I just kind of want to get it all together and then start working on a hey, we're the Hellfleet song to kind of sing to the people who are gonna hey, we're not coming to kill you.
We're the Howling
just
Pines, though.
regular
We're not the
people.
Hellfleet.
How about, damn it.
Not any longer.
Yeah, not any longer. Well, the Howling Pines then.
Fellows, the state of your shop. Is there anything salvageable?
Most of the tools. A lot of the rest of it I wouldn't bring with anyway. I'll bring the tools. There might be some smaller projects that we can bring along. But
I don't.
outside of that, I can rebuild.
Yeah, I don't have much that I don't already carry. And some of the things that I'll bring, it will probably be pretty light. So, with that in mind, I was thinking, you and I maybe take over that Green Stag ship, make sure it doesn't have any identifying markers for a Green Stag.
The other thought would be keeping those markers visible in case we need to pass.
I go back and forth with that. We could keep them, and sure, that might buy us some passage, but I also wonder if they are doing this to us, what else are they doing to other people? I wouldn't like to be associated with, in a first meeting, with that kind of with that kind of it just seems it seems a bad idea.
My thought would be, my other thought on the matter is, if we come across clans that are being harassed by Green Stag, having evidence that we've survived them, that we've been through it, could be useful as well.
Well, maybe we make battle trophies then. We don't. I suppose when I say identifying markers, I mean that this is, we have to make sure our colors are more prominent, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Because I agree. I actually think when you say that makes more sense. We could probably benefit from something like keeping some of these things as war trophies.
I'm not, for the record, I don't advocate war. I see sometimes that it happens. It's thrust upon them. Now seems as though it may be one of those times. But I want to grow for our survival, not to create some avenging fleet. So you know.
But I'm sorry if I interpreted it that way.
No worries. This is where we talk.
Go to work?
Yeah.
Alright. Yeah, so, I mean, That's what I'm hoping to do. So we're gonna try to take some of these things that identify as green stags, and we're just gonna try to like, I don't know, X them out or something like that, like proving dominance. Like that's, I guess, is what I'm trying to think. Like that's what I'm trying to figure out, right? Like
It depends. Like, and it could be things like if there's a what's it called? The ship's
Masthead?
mast.
or not the mast, but the figurehead or whatever.
The bowsprit?
Yeah,
Is it called a bowsprit?
I don't know,
might be.
but the thing at the front of the ship that.
We could even like remove that, but keep it as evidence.
Kind of like the bowsprit, but like the thing that there
It's
is
got
a
like
name.
the thing it's got on the
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there anything that identifies that in the front of the ship, like as a green stag?
Green stag. There's it's pretty pretty large, sort of bronze, like antler design, kind of like spreading out along the sides, coming from the bow.
Okay.
Yeah, we can remove that and keep it as evidence that we've done this.
Yeah. I said we could even take it up and like place it as some figurehead of the mast or something like that, or on the ship, dangling off the side.
Use it as an anchor.
But yeah, I guess I also just wanted to do some like inspection of the ship. Just wanted to make sure that it was ready to go, in good shape.
Yeah, excellent.
Yeah.
It's not my expertise necessarily, but
I mean, with the
I
two
have
of you,
stuff.
and then you can probably find some people to help out, who
Yeah.
are hackers, kind of.
I've got
restless
3
around it.
mind.
This is how you
That's
mind me.
that's all I wanted to do anyway. And obviously pack like, and once we're done with that, I'm gonna go pack up the few things that I would probably actually end up bringing: utensils, tools, things that are heavily used in long trips like that, like making sure that our ships are stocked with good citrus and things that will keep for days. That's
Yeah.
it.
Okay. Vasilisa, as everybody mills about, Arnhilder comes by you and says, Vasilisa, if you don't mind, if you would come with me, bring your bow.
That's perfect, because that's what I wanted to do.
Um,
Obviously not in character. That was not in character, but yeah.
yeah. She walks with you to a fairly burnt out shack where where the prisoners are all tied up. You've got seven men in green stag garb. Their weapons and shields have been piled over on the side of the shack. You've also got Brigitte there as well, who's bound a little extra firmly. Her armor has been taken off at this point, so she's in Black Eagle garb, which is just a lot of darker colors, a black and then a kind of deep crimson trim on the standard clothes. It's just supposed to give like the right like kind of uniform look underneath the armor and all that. They're all tied up there. Arnhilder comes into the room, starts kind of pacing around and addressing them. She says, "What you have done to this clan is hard to forgive. You had nothing to gain. This was done only to harm. I see you all are young. You all are just following orders. However, there comes a time where you need to take responsibility for the actions that you take. This is the chance that you have to turn this era. If you want to lead better lives, we will not stop you. If you are not okay with this, then we leave you here. If you come with us, you will be under watch. We will not allow you to cause any more harm. But given enough time, given a show of remorse, given a commitment to improving the lives of those around you, you can integrate safely into the Howling Pine. You have my word. Does anybody object to this? Would any of you like to be left here, tied up in this shack which will soon be burnt down? There are sort of silent, and most of them are looking at the ground. You can see a lot of them are mostly just distressed. A lot of these recruits are very young. They're late teens to early 20s, you would wager.
I would like to crouch on the ground in front of them
Okay.
so that I'm at like eye level. Hey, I'd take that deal. You guys are so young. You have so much life to live. There's a peninsula we don't even know about. How great is it that you will get to discover new land? That doesn't come very often. We've sat here for years, hiding, and we're only just gonna get to discover new land. Take the deal, because it's only one offer, and it's gonna be offered never, ever again.
Brigida kind of scoffs. She's like, "It's not new land. You found it on the chart that the Green Stags made. You talk with much importance, and it is a little less annoying than it is funny, so I'm not terribly upset. However, I will take your deal. I have no ambition to slowly burn to death in a shed. Arnhilder, looks at her and she says, "Well, alright." She, walks up to, Brigida and takes out a rough hunting knife and cuts through the ropes binding her hands and feet. Which Brigida rolls her shoulders back, stands up, kind of works out a few cranks, towering over, like, probably a good close to a foot taller than either of you. Even without the armor on, this is a large woman. And then she immediately reaches out and grabs Arnhilder by the by the tunic, and lifts her up. You draw your bow.
Yep.
As soon as you draw an arrow, Arnhilder has taken the hunting knife and jammed it into Brigida's neck, and she collapses. And as she lies on the ground, you just hear like a rough kind of chuckle gurgling through the as blood pours out, and she twitches a bit and then dies laughing, more or less.
Good. I didn't want to take her anyways.
A thing about the Dread Eagles. You can feel she's addressing this to the
To the kids.
to the green stacks. Yes.
Yeah.
You may know them as your allies. They teamed up with your clan on that attack against us long ago. I suspect it is because, well, the Green Stag were another trading group. The Trade Eagles, they were all military. They live by might. They very dearly hold on to tales of Valhalla. They believe to die in combat is to be given the best afterlife imaginable. Far superior to going to hell, to dying of sickness of old age. A death in combat, now that's a good death. Go to Valhalla, everything's all nice. I cannot say if this is true or not. I've heard the stories, I'm sure you have. I'm sure you all were raised. I'm sure you've all been told so many stories about Valhalla, about glory, as you were trained. And as I have yet to die, unfortunately, I cannot tell you if they are true. What I can tell you is that it is a very convenient story to tell people that you want to die for you. She took that belief to her grave. You may as well, if that's what you prefer. Who am I to deny you what you want? We don't believe this. The scorn that we developed, the scorn that we earned from these other clans, especially from the Dread Eagle, was that we believed that giving people a good life while they were still here was the best thing we could do. We value that. If you can get behind that, we'd be happy to welcome you. I will give you a while to think about it. I'll be back a little before we set the building on fire, so think it over. And then Arnhilder wipes the knife off on Brigida's tunic and heads out.
I'll leave.
Okay. You two were doing the boat thing. Yeah, you're able to... It takes a little bit of work. It takes you a couple hours to dismount that stuff. It was, it's a big boat.
It's meant to last.
But you do
on
manage
a
to...
sailing ship.
You're muted, Miles.
Oh.
Yeah. What you say?
Yeah, man, it was mounted on a sailing ship to last long voyages, so it was probably pretty sturdy.
Yeah, you don't want this thing to fall apart. Brunhilde and Berghild, is there anything you guys would like to do with your time? Yes? Chelsea? I thought you raised your hand.
I wasn't sure because Bridget had unmuted, so I wanted to make sure.
Sorry.
So while Adolphus, Ragnalder, and Freyr, and my papa, are packing.
Yes.
I want to go with my mom to Henrik's, where we buried Henrik,
Okay.
and just kind of sit with her, and like say, like, you know, kind of like letting him know we're leaving and all that, and then whenever we all try to leave, we leave.
Okay. Brunhilde, what would you like to do with your time? Oh, you
Still
said
working on
you
the
said you
theme
packed lightly.
song.
Was there anything else you
Yeah.
wanted to do outside of packing?
Working on the theme song. That's about it. I'm
Fair.
trying to.
You get a
do
couple.
the, hey,
You
we're
get a
not-
couple people. A fair amount of the kids from the village are gathered around. A lot of those who are too young to really be doing any labor, are just kind of hanging out with you.
Cool.
Yeah. So, did anybody else have anything else they wanted to do before the hours pass?
I have something, but it depends on an action. It depends on, so move forward. It's like a thing that I'm thinking. So go ahead.
Okay.
I do want to go back to the prisoners once the building, like, before they put it on fire.
Yeah.
Just to, yeah.
Yeah, there'll be a scene there.
Yeah.
After Arnhilder leaves, you see her gathering a lot, and you see they've been making, and you know they've been doing this since last night. They had started making a funeral pyre, a small boat to send out and burn, as is tradition, with those who were killed during the attack. So you see them kind of making preparations to send that off. If anybody wanted to engage with that in any fashion. But
I'll help her make it.
okay, it's one.
You would think after doing this for 20 years,
Yeah.
it'd be a lot easier.
Yes. Well, at least we got to do this time.
Yeah.
With everybody's preparations, if everybody's preparations are complete, people kind of start gathering over by the funeral pyre, getting ready to send it off. Would anybody like to? Does anybody say any words or have anything they would like to do as they do the ceremony?
I sort of nudge Brunhilde.
Oh, right. I'm
This
gonna
is
start.
the point where you actually have some use.
Right. No, you're right. You're right. And I'm gonna, you know,
My favorite Norse instrument, the ukulele.
it's all I got, man. It
It's
has
close
my
to a
name on it.
mandolin. It's
It's
close.
fine. It's yeah. Who's a mandolin? Yeah.
She was the other Nickelodeon star.
Yes. Okay, so as she provides musical accompaniment, that's right. I'm not gonna expect you to just have a funeral song.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know lyrics, but
No, yeah, that's it.
everything is
yeah, I don't-
the bodies.
it's very much.
The bodies have
I
been.
start singing somewhere
bodies have
over the
been-
rainbow.
Great. You play a song.
Yeah, the bodies have been laid as neatly as possible. The boat is thankfully large enough to hold everybody, and Arnhilder says a few short words, essentially along the lines of, "For those we have unfortunately lost, we pray that there is room for them in Valhalla, and that they will live better there than they had the chance to here. And as a fire is she lights a fire at the near the front, and yes.
No, just yeah, just like when you're done.
Oh. She lights a fire near the front, and several of the more able-bodied people there help to kind of push the boat out and set it on its way.
As that's happening, can I like slink away?
Yes.
Great. I go towards the wherever they're keeping the prisoners.
Okay. You're there.
And stepping in, there's 6 of them.
There's 7.
Or 7
there
plus
was 7 green
plus
stacks.
Brigida.
Yeah,
Okay.
Brigida was an 8.
All right. So the 7 that are sitting there, I sort of just sit down with them. Do you have families?
Most of them nod. Like 2 of them shake their head. No.
This deal, does it sound fair to you?
One of them sort of clears his throat. He says, "Is it true that you did the Hellfleet? Did they not do anything to provoke the attack?"
We probably did 1 or 2 things to someone somewhere. We had a beautiful navy. It is envious. It was envious. When you have a prize that big, it makes some very... It's like a shining beacon asking for a challenge. But if you want me to say, did we directly provoke? No. That was not our way. It continues to not be our way. I was once someone who very greatly appreciated when we did fight. And when you smell the burning bodies of your friends and the endless blood is thicker than the air you breathe, it really changes your perspective of battle and war and right and wrong.
We had never had a battle on that scale before. We are used to things like this, to coming into settlements, and there was usually less resistance, there was usually less death in the end on both sides. Usually nobody wanted to fight back, and we were told they were delinquents. We were told they were withholding what was ours. We were told they had wronged us. I've never seen mercy. I And it is only now starting. I'm only now starting to realize that perhaps these things we are told, perhaps Oda was not somebody to be trusted. Perhaps we had not been used to right wrongs, but to create them, and it's not sitting well with me.
Good. You are starting to realize the difference between being used and being useful. You are starting to understand that you are the only person who is in charge of yourself. Blind faith is not enough. It is not healthy. It also creates arrogance. It tells you that your fleet is something that can never be approached. The Hell Fleet was such an example. And we have learned that mistake. So, would you like to continue to learn that?
I think it is worth a try.
Well, then make no mistake. There's no trying here. You either succeed or you die.
Aye.
I don't mean we kill you. I mean, eventually you're going to just do something stupid.
While I think I would like to take the deal, I cannot promise we won't do anything stupid.
Oh yeah, that's more just life, I guess.
Okay, good. That was the only.
That was the stipulation. That was the hold up.
That was the only. Yeah, that was the only stipulation that he had a problem with.
But no, he's that's great, because we could use a lot of hands in the next part. We're going to have to build. Are any of you craftsmen?
One of them kind of nods his head. Just. I whittle here and there.
Prepare to whittle a lot more. Does anybody else have anything else useful outside of killing, maiming, whatever it is you did with the green stags?
I was gonna say one of them was used to tending livestock and crops. Came from a. He was conscripted from a more kind of agricultural family.
Think about these things. We have a trip ahead of us. Imagine a new life you could have. We can all be warriors. But what we need more are people that make things that last. And I go over and I take out my hand axe and I cut their bindings. All 7 of them. I just cut the bindings. And I say, so, start a new life. Learn some new things. To the craftsperson, I say, there's someone. You will come with me, and we will talk to some people. If anyone treats you poorly, just let me know. Because I am your lifeline. I am your doctor.
Did the Jarl give you permission to cut our bindings? I'm just curious.
That is curious, isn't it? And I walk away.
Just kind of just amongst themselves, she's like, she's a little bit scary. Yeah, she's straight up stat, Brigitte. I don't know. And they just kind of like sit back down and just like kind of put their hands behind their backs, just like, oh. Yeah, I don't know if we want to just go out there. About 10 minutes later, Arnhilder comes back. Vasilisa, do you go with her?
Yeah.
Okay. She comes in. One of them is like, "Oh, there you are."
Awkwardly.
We would like to take your deal. Starting something new sounds wonderful.
Can I tell that their vines are already cut?
Roll insight. Is it insight? Insight or awareness? Let me see. I need to look at an actual character sheet.
Okay.
Can it be awareness since I have a bigger score in that?
Yeah, it'd be some kind of
Awareness seems more.
awareness. Is,
Awareness
yeah,
seems
awareness.
more appropriate.
Yeah, do awareness.
Cool. Okay. 15.
15.
Yeah.
You can tell they look a little nervous. Also, their shoulders are like way further back and more rigid than they should be.
What's wrong?
Oh, nothing. We're just waiting to. We're just happy to be. And one of them just like blurts it out. He's like, "I'm sorry, the old one came out and he cut our ropes and we're not gonna do anything. I swear."
About yay high. Has a funny accent.
We all
Said he's
we
your
all
healer.
we all have funny accents.
Yeah, no, I
I
know.
like how I have like a character. I have
It's a very standard-
scar across it. Like there's like so many defining
Always identifying
features.
things like the one that talks funny. And it's like, you mean
He's
with
a friend, I can say that.
with the Norse accent? Alright.
I think you're doing a killer
Yeah.
accent. No,
Arnhilder just kind of rolls her eyes. She's like,
I think you're doing a killer accent, and I want to try and learn it. So just on the record.
Yeah.
Arnhilder just kind of rolls her eyes. She's like, one day I'll have to talk to Einar about this. But it has caused no problems so far, so. Alright, well. Come on, make yourselves useful. We've got a lot of stuff to load onto the boats. They kind of get up and file out and run down. As this happens, she says, "Alright, well, if we're leaving, we'll want to raise the rest of this to the ground. We'll want to burn it, make it seem like they wiped us. It won't cover our tracks for long, but if they are coming here, it will delay them at least a little bit."
Yeah, I can start on that process.
Has everybody retrieved everything they want before burning buildings? Alright. It's kind of a somber... It doesn't take long. There's not a lot of buildings, especially after yesterday.
Going back to my hut, I took the walking stick that was given to me.
Take the walking stick. Yeah.
Well, the walking stick that was given to me by the healer.
Yeah,
who
if you guys
trained
have any particularly special belongings...
me. Yeah.
Um,
That's one of the first things you would grab, I guess.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
put all that work into.
You all load onto... Let's see, how many boats? You've got
We found
roughly 50
static.
people. You all load onto
Drop
3
a
boats.
load.
You all load onto 3 boats. You've got 2 carves and a birding. It's a little bit of a tight fit. But you've got enough to crew all of them pretty sufficiently left. Not every oar is full, but enough oars to get the boat moving. More or less. And as everything loads on, as the buildings are burning, as the funeral pyre is out on the horizon and it's up in flames right now, is there anything anybody would like to do before we shove off? Yes?
I want to sing a song about leaving the land behind. So long, farewell, To you, our land, the howling pines shall not see thee again. I said so long. Farewell. Yeah. I just want to do that as we slowly drift away from the burning.
That's Bear in the Big Blue House, right?
Yeah, no, it was out of the box.
Out of the
Oh,
box.
is that out of the box?
So long.
There we go.
Farewell. Yeah. whatever
Right, Bear in the
that-
Blue House was goodbye, goodbye, good friend. Yeah.
Yeah.
Got it.
That's the one she's saying at the pyre funeral.
Fire-
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Goodbye.
No.
Later days.
Yeah, there is room for the bear on the boat, Vasilisa. Okay. It's partially why it's so packed. But there is room. I mean, I'm assuming that, like, all the room that you would usually use for storing treasure and stuff is your belongings, and you don't have that many belongings.
Right.
You've got a stockpile of weapons and everything. The carve that you got from the Green Stags does have a lot of gear and weapons and stuff in it, which is nice. Yeah. As you push off, actually, which boat does everybody want to be on? So there's the Green Stag carve, there's your own carve, and then there's a birding. People are kind of split fairly evenly. It doesn't matter entirely much, but if there's anybody in particular you would like to ride with, whether it's family members, whether it's other party members, either way is fine. The boat, the carve, your own carve is going to be what Arnhilder is on, and it's going to be leading. It's going to be the lead boat.
I want to be on that one.
Okay. Anybody else?
Yeah, same. I'm gonna have to be on that one. If anything happens to her, then I gotta be close enough.
Okay.
I want to be on the Green Stag boat.
Okay. Phyllis,
Einar and
you're muted.
Vasilisa. Oh,
You're muted.
I can't. I always do that.
Einar and Vasilisa are like my only friends, so I'm just gonna I'm gonna be on their boat.
Okay.
Okay, so 3 on the main boat. Yes. What would you like to do, Brighild?
I just want to be with my family. So
We'll say
5.
we'll say they're on the birding. The smallest boat.
which
Yes, that's gonna have a lot of.
the one that so me in one boat, 3 of them on the other boat, and then
Yes, just so we got somebody on each boat.
not click whistle.
Just so we have somebody on each boat. Just so all the boats are getting
No, that's
used.
cool. That's cool. That's cool.
All right.
What was the name of it again? The Burning?
Birding.
Birding. Birding. Which is like the act of going birding, but with a Y instead of an I at the front. Yeah. And as you shove off and the boats head out to sea and you turn south and start moving, just over the horizon to the north, a couple of you, if any of you are paying more attention, you do see the shape of a fleet coming up over the horizon.
We're not heading that direction.
No,
right?
it's from the other direction. They're coming from the north. You guys are heading south.
awesome.
And as you sail away, as your village burns, as a bunch of mysterious dots appear on the horizon, that is where we will end this session.
The boats are coming.